was a phone call I needed to make. For 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I knew I needed to make it on day 1. And every single day for 6 weeks, I found a reason not to. Too busy. Wrong time. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it at the weekend. I'll do it when I feel more ready. Hello and welcome back to English with Ella. Today's story is about that phone call. About the thing we know we need to do and keep finding reasons not to. About what happens when we finally stop avoiding and just do it. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Ella. I am 27 years old. I am originally from San Diego, California, and I have been living in East London for 5 years. Every episode, I tell you a true story from my life in natural, flowing English. No textbooks, no grammar lessons, just a story. Today's episode is called, I Finally Made the Call. Now, before I tell you who I was calling and why, I want to talk about the feeling, because I think most of you will know it. That particular heavy feeling of something you are avoiding. Something that sits at the back of your mind. Not screaming, just there. Always there. A low hum of, you still haven't done that thing. The word for that feeling is to dread something. To dread, which means to feel anxious and worried about something that is coming, or something you know you need to do. When you dread something, you think about it too much. You imagine all the ways it could go wrong. You build it up in your mind until it feels much bigger and much harder than it probably is. I was dreading this phone call. I had been dreading it for 6 weeks. And the longer I left it, the more I dreaded it. Because now it wasn't just the call I was dreading. It was the call and the explanation of why I had taken 6 weeks to make it. Which is how avoidance works. You avoid something to escape the discomfort. And the avoidance creates more discomfort. And then you avoid it more to escape that discomfort. And so on. Until 6 weeks have passed, and you are sitting on your sofa on a Sunday morning eating toast, and you think, I cannot keep doing this. That Sunday morning is where today's story begins. So, let me tell you who I was calling. Her name is Claire. She and I had been friends for about 3 years. Good friends. The kind where you text each other silly things during the day and meet up without much planning and talk easily about everything. The kind of friendship that feels effortless. And then, about 2 months before this story, something happened. Not a dramatic falling out, not a big argument, something smaller and in some ways harder. A misunderstanding that neither of us handled well. Words said in a moment of stress that landed wrong. A silence afterwards that neither of us broke. 2 weeks passed, then 3, then a month. The longer the silence went on, the harder it felt to break it. I thought about texting. I started messages and deleted them. I thought about calling and then put my phone down. Because here's the thing about letting time pass in a difficult situation. Every day you leave it, it gets slightly heavier. The silence itself becomes a thing. It starts to mean something. And breaking it feels like acknowledging all the days you didn't break it. I had been putting it off. Putting something off means to keep delaying it, to keep choosing not to do it today. For 6 weeks. And on that Sunday morning, sitting with my toast going cold, I decided. Today. I am doing it today. I picked up my phone. I put it down. I picked it up again. I made a coffee first, obviously. And then I sat at my kitchen table with my coffee and my phone, and I did something I am slightly embarrassed to admit. I rehearsed. To rehearse means to practice what you are going to say before you actually say it, like an actor learning lines before a performance. I sat there and I said, out loud, to nobody, in my empty kitchen, "Hi, Claire. I've been thinking about you. I'm sorry it's taken me this long to call." I said it a few times, different versions, different tones, too formal, too casual, too apologetic, not apologetic enough. The truth is, you can rehearse a conversation as much as you like, but the moment the other person speaks, the script goes out the window. Because conversations are not performances. They are alive. They go where they go. I knew this. I had always known this. I called anyway. 3 rings. 4 rings. 5. And then Claire answered. She said, "Ella." Not hello, not hey, just my name. In a tone I could not immediately read. Not cold, not warm, just present. Like she had been expecting this and was deciding in real time how to receive it. I said, "Hi. I know it's been a while. I've been wanting to call." She said, "I know. Me too." And something in me, something I had been holding very tightly for 6 weeks, loosened slightly. Now, I want to tell you something about phone calls versus text messages, because I think about this a lot. When you send a text, you have complete control over your words. You can write and rewrite and delete and start again. You can take 20 minutes to reply and nobody knows. You can be precise and careful and considered. But when you speak, on the phone, in person, something different happens. You cannot edit yourself in real time. The words come out as they are. And the other person hears not just what you say, but how you say it. The small hesitation, the breath before a difficult word, the way your voice changes when you mean something. And I think, for certain conversations, that is exactly what is needed. Not the careful edited text, the real voice. Claire and I talked for nearly an hour. I will not tell you everything we said. Some conversations are private, even when you are the kind of person who tells stories for a living. But I will tell you the shape of it. We started carefully, politely. The first few minutes were slightly stiff. We were both bracing ourselves, which means preparing ourselves for something difficult, tensing slightly against what might come. And it showed in the way we spoke. Formal sentences, careful word choices. Nothing like how we usually talked. And then, about 10 minutes in, Claire said something that made me laugh. A small observation about something completely unrelated to any of it. And I laughed. A real laugh, not a polite one. And she laughed too. And after that, the conversation changed. It loosened. It became us again. Not immediately fixed. Not like the 6 weeks hadn't happened, but something had shifted. The ice, as people say, had broken. We talked about the misunderstanding. We talked about what had happened and what we had each been thinking and feeling. Neither of us had handled it perfectly. I said things I wished I had said differently, and I told her that. And she said the same. And there was something, I want to use a phrase here, We cleared the air. To clear the air means to talk openly about something difficult that has been creating tension, so that the tension can finally go. Like opening a window in a room that has been closed too long. We cleared the air. And the relief? That feeling of something heavy finally lifting was immediate. The call ended after about 50 minutes. We didn't fix everything in one conversation. Some things take longer than that. But we had started. We had broken the silence. We had said the things that needed saying. And when I put the phone down, I sat at my kitchen table for a long time. Not doing anything. Just sitting. My coffee was completely cold. My toast had been forgotten. The Sunday morning was now Sunday late morning, and I had done nothing except make one phone call. And it was the most productive hour of the past 6 weeks. I want to talk about something that I think is really important. Something I learned from those 6 weeks of avoidance and that 1 hour of finally facing it. We spend so much energy on the things we are not doing, the call we are not making, the conversation we are not having, the email sitting in our drafts, the apology we have not said, the thing we keep putting off. And here is what I have noticed. The energy it takes to avoid something is almost always greater than the energy it takes to do it. The weight of the undone thing sits on you. It takes up space in your mind. It colors your days slightly. Not dramatically, just enough. Just a low hum of, that thing is still there. And then you do it, and the hum stops. And you wonder, why did I wait 6 weeks for this? I think the answer, if I am honest, is fear. Not fear of the call itself. Fear of what the call might reveal. What if Claire was angrier than I thought? What if the conversation made things worse? What if I said the wrong thing and damaged the friendship permanently? Those fears felt very real for 6 weeks. And then I made the call, and they turned out to be not nothing exactly. The call was difficult in places. There were moments that were uncomfortable. But nothing as bad as what I had been imagining. The imagination, and I say this from considerable experience, is very good at making things worse than they are. There is a phrase in English, to patch things up. To patch things up means to repair a relationship or a situation after something has gone wrong. Like patching a hole in something. It might not be invisible, the repair might show a little, but the thing is whole again. It works again. Claire and I patched things up. Not perfectly, not instantly, but we started. And sometimes starting is everything. We met for coffee the following Thursday. Rachel came too, which helped because Rachel is very good at making awkward situations feel normal. We sat in a cafe near mine for 3 hours. By the end of it, things felt not exactly like before. Better, maybe. More honest. Like we had been tested and come through it. And there is a word for that feeling. Closure. Closure means the feeling of resolution, of something being properly finished or properly dealt with. When you have closure, you can move on. The thing is done. You can put it down. I had closure. And then, because this is how life works, I could move on. To move on means to stop dwelling on something and continue forward. To let it be behind you rather than in front of you. 6 weeks of dread, 1 hour of conversation, and then forward. I think about that phone call when I am avoiding something now. Which still happens. I am not cured of avoidance. I do not think anyone is. But when I notice that low hum, when I feel the weight of something undone sitting at the back of my mind, I try to remember how I felt after I made the call. Not during. During was hard. After. The silence when I put the phone down. The cold coffee. The Sunday morning that had not changed at all and yet felt completely different. Relief. That is what I felt. Real, physical relief. Like putting down something heavy you had been carrying for so long you had forgotten you were carrying it. I think there are probably things, for most of us, that we are carrying right now. Conversations we have been putting off. Messages we have been drafting and not sending. Calls we need to make. And I am not going to tell you it will be easy. Some of those conversations are genuinely hard. Some of them will not go as well as mine did. Some of them will be uncomfortable in ways that take time to settle. But I will tell you this. The carrying is harder than the doing. Almost always. Whatever your phone call is, I hope you make it. Not today necessarily, but soon. Before 6 weeks becomes 7. Before the weight gets heavier. And if it helps, make yourself a coffee first. Sit at your kitchen table. Take a breath. And dial. If you are enjoying English with Ella, please subscribe. New episodes regularly. New stories. Flowing natural English wherever you are. Coming up next, I want to tell you about the day I tried to cook a dinner party for 8 people, with 1 working hob, in my very small East London kitchen, and how that went. Spoiler, not smoothly. That episode is called 8 People, 1 Hob, No Plan. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and make the call. See you in the next one. Bye for now.